Welcome back everybody, and thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. And if you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Matthew and I make daily Shopify videos to help you guys with your Shopify dropshipping stores. Now in today's video, we are going to be comparing general, niche, and one product stores, talking about the benefits and the disadvantages of each of them, talking about which ones I recommend as well for you if you're a beginner, intermediate, or whatever level. We'll be going over that at the end of the video, so stick around till then. But before I jump into that and start comparing them, I want to remind you guys that I give away a 15-minute mentorship call every video, and all you got to do is like, subscribe, and comment down below #dropout and a video idea. And before I announce the winner of last video, I want to thank you guys for giving me this video idea. It's because of you guys that I came up with this content. And go ahead and pause the video, go down, comment down below a video idea, and hopefully you'll see it next time I post, which will be after tomorrow. Let's jump into it. And the winner, by the way, guys, is in the description. I keep forgetting. I'm no longer posting the image anymore. With general, niche, and one product stores, each of them have their own unique benefits. And when you choose a general store, a niche store, or one product store, you are missing out on the benefits of the other ones. And that's just the way life works. You can't have it all. So choose one and be confident with it is definitely going to be one of my most underrated tips of this video. I guarantee that you'll end up being successful. You can be successful with any one of them. So I've heard some other Shopify YouTubers out there talking about how general stores are dead, or how niche stores, or how you have to do a one product store. It's absolutely not true. There are very popular general stores that are just coming up right now. I see it. I do consulting calls with you guys and I see how you guys are already starting to become successful. Niche stores, same thing. And one product stores, I actually haven't seen in my consulting calls because I guess they are, a little bit more difficult to execute properly. With any of these, you can be successful with any of them. So if you were wondering, I hope that clarifies that for you guys. And in terms of my consulting calls, you can click the first link down below and sign up for a 30-minute or 1 hour consulting call with me. And it is going to be amazing. It's personal help. So if you already have a course and now you just want to get your Facebook ads looked at or anything like that, you can go ahead and click that first link. The last thing to remember with this is that you're actually never locked down to one of these. You can always pivot. So that's important. Think about it like basketball. Before you start traveling, you do have a pivot. So it's very easy to pivot in these, right? Nobody really knows about your store yet. And so a pivot while, you're making, let's say $100 or $200 or $300 a day in revenue is going to be completely fine and nobody's really going to notice. And to be honest, many of the bigger benefits are only experienced in the long term. So most of the benefits I'll be talking about in this video will be experienced in the long term. So before you actually get to experience these benefits or before you take advantage of these benefits, you do have to actually be successful on Shopify. All right, guys, so let's start off with a general store. And obviously, this is probably what you've heard the most, is that it provides the most flexibility. You can test whatever you want. So if you're on Facebook and you find a great product and it has nothing to do with your store, well, it doesn't matter because you have a general store. So you can just make a new category and go put it under there, make a nice product description, and nobody will really notice. And when people come onto your store, because it's generally branded, like branded in a general way, so, direct online deals or something like that, well, people aren't really going to know the difference. And so they'll buy from it without question. They'll think it's like Walmart, right? It doesn't really stop anybody from, or cause questions because it's the general store. It has everything. Testing products and moving into a niche is a great strategy. So for example, if we go back and let's say we chose like an incense lamp in our general store and it ended up doing really, really well, like the incense waterfall, well, then we can actually just pivot into something else and, just make a incense store, for example, or just, focusing on those kind of like vibes, those kind of like spiritual vibes. So we can make a niche store out of that general store. And that's very simple to do. All you got to do is rebrand, buy a new domain, and it's done in a couple of hours. As long as you can make the logo yourself, in a couple of hours, you're good. Now, one thing that is going to be difficult in the long term is warehousing. So if you do have multiple winning products or, if you have a few products, it's going to be more expensive than in a niche store to, have them all branded in different ways and to manage the inventory, manage the upsells. So it is going to be difficult because you'll never know which upsells are going to do the best. But if you are like in a niche store, for example, you know that you only have 2 upsells that you usually do. But with a general store, you have, let's say 6. So 2 for every product that's winning. And let's say you have 3. So it does kind of become more difficult to warehouse those products because you do have to pay for that inventory upfront if you're thinking about private labeling, which I do recommend more than anything because private labeling is going to protect you. And it's probably the best way to succeed on Shopify right now. And obviously general stores are good for beginners and intermediates and obviously for experienced people. But if you're really just beginning on Shopify, I would recommend actually a general store because, again, it offers you that flexibility. And to pivot into a niche store is really just a few extra hours of work, a new logo, a new domain name, and then a few changes of the email address in certain parts in the terms of service and stuff like that. So really nothing to do in creating a new Facebook page. If you're just starting out and you just found a winning product, you probably don't even have that many likes. So secondly, guys, let's jump into niche store. So flexibility varies depending on the niche. So obviously some niches are better than others. Not all niches are created equal. So you'll have something like the dog niche or the pet niche that obviously has way more products than like the skateboarding niche. So depending on which niche you're in, you will have a huge effect on the flexibility that you have in terms of testing products. So the one thing is that if you do choose a relatively broad niche that's, pretty popular, so let's say pets, you'll have enough products to test. So it isn't that big of a risk to choose a niche store over a general store as long as you're choosing a broad niche. If you are choosing something very specific, let's say, like screen cleaning supplies, well, that's very niche. And if it doesn't succeed, well, you're kind of limited in terms of the products that you can test. So branding is easier. All pages are congruent. So basically your Facebook page, your product pages, your logos, everything is going to be congruent with the brand. So you're not going to see direct online deals and then see something like makeup. It's going to be like, I love dogs, and then it's going to be I love dogs is special LED collar. So everything is congruent and it all makes sense in the customer's mind. So everything feels like it's right, and that is going to boost conversion rates. So it's easier to private label and develop a brand for longevity. So in your niche store, you'll probably have, some winning upsells and a winning product. And so dealing with only two or three products is going to be much easier than with a general store. So private labeling that stuff and having the same logo on everything is just going to be much easier to scale. On top of that, you'll probably only have like one or two manufacturers as opposed to a general store, or you have to deal with a few because the products are going to be so different. So you're not going to be able to get all your products from one person. Whereas a niche store, usually manufacturers do produce mostly in the same niche. So if you are in the dog niche, then it's going to be much easier to find a manufacturer that produces, LED collars and dog bowls and, whatever other products that you can imagine. Now, on top of all this, guys, the one thing about niche stores that you will notice is that the conversion rates and upsells are higher than a general store. So people are going to convert easier because they're going to feel like the store is more unique and they can't really find these products anywhere else. On top of that, upsells are going to be much more relevant and much more easy to control. So it's much easier to be testing these upsells, and as a result, you'll just have higher upsells and higher average order values, which obviously is going to be better for you because your cost for getting that customer is fixed anyway, and an upsell is just bonus profit for you. And niche stores are obviously good for all levels, like niche store is really freaking good. Now, the notorious one product store. There's practically no flexibility here. The store is made for one product. If you're doing like a mic, then that's all you can sell, and you don't really have much flexibility in terms of testing it. All you can do is change the way you advertise and change who you advertise to. It's the easiest type of store to brand. Obviously, if you only have one product, you only have to worry about one thing. So doing photography and getting models to take pictures with it or influencers, it's very simple. You don't have to have too many products. It's just one thing to deal with. So if you pay one photographer, you don't have to worry about it ever again. That product is taken care of. So it's very easy to manage and brand the store. Now, with all of this being said, it does require more experience and more ad budget. The more experience obviously being in the choosing of the product and having the experience to run successful Facebook ads. And on top of all this, you're going to need a pretty big ad budget. And that's because you're going to have to be testing lots of different audiences because you might not succeed right away. And, this whole strategy of testing 5 to 10 audiences for $5 a day ain't really going to cut it for a one product store. It might if you're really lucky, but chances are you're not going to have that much success at the beginning. So you're going to have to test a lot of different campaigns and a lot of different interests to actually find that successful one. So if you're not prepared for that, then definitely stick to a niche store where you can test more and try to find something that's kind of going to be successful at a cheaper price. It's easiest to manage, and that's assuming you have low variation. So for example, with a mic, if you have like 20 colors, that's going to be pretty shitty. But if you only have one color and one mic in one size, well, it's going to be really easy to keep it in stock. You don't have to worry about, talking to a bunch of different manufacturers. It's as easy as, hey, can I reorder the product 500 pieces? And by the time, once you have all your logistics set up, which is very simple, then there's not really much you have to worry about, and you can go focus on improving other aspects of your business instead of worrying about inventory and worrying about variations and worrying about this and that. It's just one product to reorder and one variation. Now, you're going to obviously have the highest conversion rates on one product stores, and that's because they kind of feel like Kickstarter campaigns and something that's really just unique. So the customer is going to feel lots of value from this. And plus, if you're doing a one product store properly, you can build it on ClickFunnels, or you can build it using Zipify pages. And that way you have a really beautifully designed product page. But even that is completely not necessary. Even if you just have one Shopify page that's like perfectly made for this one product, then, obviously your conversion rates are going to be boosted. How much, I'm not sure, but you're obviously going to have the highest conversion rates here in the one product store. And you'll probably have the best customer service as well, because again, so many things are just taken care of. There's so many things you don't have to worry about anymore because it's only one product. You don't have to worry about, taking pictures constantly or ordering these products, recording ads. You only have one product. There's not much, well, there is a lot to do, but your attention is very focused. And so you can give better customer service. You're going to be getting a lot of the same questions. Whereas with the general store, for example, you'll have a question like, oh, what's this with this product and this with this product, with product B, product A. And so with this, you can just make an FAQ and you probably get a lot of the same questions. And so a lot of these problems will be solved and very streamlined. So very easy to do customer service here. And with experience of selling the product, obviously, you can better improve the product. You can get instructions. So you can just be solving a lot of problems that you're getting because you just have so much experience with this one product. All right, guys. So finally, the recommendation for me overall is a niche store. Usually you'll end up finding one dominant winner, so you can transition to an OPS, and it's going to be just a little bit easier because you'll kind of have your branding already done. And honestly, you don't have to brand it as a one product store, but it can just be a one product store with more of a niche branding. So it still offers great branding, upsells, and flexibility for less experienced dropshippers. So again, you do still have that leeway. So, if you do end up doing, let's say, a one product store for a mic and it doesn't end up working, well, you'll have to restart the whole thing. But if you named it like computeraccessories.com, for example, and the mic doesn't work, well, you can always go into like keyboards, mice, and webcam, stuff like that. So there is still a lot of flexibility. Whereas again, with that one product store, you are limited to that one product. And on top of this, the niche store has a lot of the same benefits as a general store, but usually has much higher conversion and average order value rates. So, that's just the way it ends up being. You have much more targeted audiences. It is easier to manage your pixel. Whereas with the general store, you're always going to have to be making custom audiences using the actual links of the product pages and focusing on figuring out where that traffic is coming from and dividing everything up. Whereas your lookalike audiences in a niche store with similar people is going to be, good enough for any product, because as long as they like one dog product, they'll probably like another. So that's also a couple things to remember. But other than that, guys, I hope this actually helps you guys decide what kind of store to launch. If you haven't launched your store yet, you can go click the second link down below and you'll have a 14-day free trial. It's an affiliate link to Shopify and you can sign up and get 14 days free. Otherwise, guys, that's going to do it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.